The fit study that we are currently conducting now is actually covering 6 months up to the age of 60 years and over. So our data that was presented today is the data results coming from our 6 to 12-year-old analysis of the dietary intake of our school kids. Now, the importance of analyzing this is actually to know the magnitude and the distribution of inadequate nutrient intake among this population group and what types of foods are our kids eating. So in that kind of presentation, we can actually, knowing very well what is actually the magnitude and the deficiencies in nutrient intakes, we can craft policies for recommendations. First is we can use that to advocate to the Department of Agriculture what else can we produce to address actually the inadequacies of this kind of foods that we are eating. A while ago, I said we should coordinate and have one unified command in addressing the malnutrition situation of the country. Now that we have seen that there is really an inadequate nutrient intake in terms of vitamins, minerals, and energy. So I think it's high time for all of us to really do some sort of advocacy campaigns, educational campaigns for that matter, and food production, and of course, other types of interventions. And of course, first and foremost, is to craft the policy. Now, the policy should actually been crafted in our, the policies that FNRI data has been used was actually in the Philippine Plan of Action for Nutrition, in the PPAN. Now, we're very glad that they are actually having this kind of plan to integrate all the activities of the implementing agencies. So it's high time for us to craft specific interventions addressing specific problems. So gone are the years that we have to actually advocate and do some sort of policies in a very macro level type. So I think our data speaks well that we have to address the situation in terms of doing policy recommendations, doing some sort of intervention mix to address the problem, because we cannot address a problem in one intervention only. So I think these are the things that we should do. There are pros and cons in this kind of results that we have. You have seen that rice contributed a lot of the key nutrients in our diet. That means to say, we are just speaking that there is no variety, there is no diversity in the diet of Filipinos. Therefore, rice is not a complete food that can actually give all the nutrients that the body needs, especially among our young kids, 6 to 12 years old. So what I'm saying is, yes, rice is good because it is our staple food, but there is opportunity, therefore, to actually increase the nutrients in rice. FNRI has launched actually and has implemented iron-fortified rice, and it's actually already in the market. So, we are very successful also in convincing the Department of Education, the Department of Social Welfare, to actually use this iron-fortified rice in the family food packs for the DSWD and in the supplementary feeding for the DepEd. So we are now working more and moving forward is actually to recruit more millers and more adapters of the technology on iron-fortified rice. Second, apart from rice, we have to advocate diversity. So diversity means we have to actually tell our people that you can easily get nutrients by doing some sort of gardening, at the home, at the backyard, or what we call home gardening, and education. Actually, the base of everything is actually to educate people. So what we always say is, how are we going to educate? So I think we have to target the message that people can really easily understand. So there are opportunities also for food industries to either reformulate their product by actually doing some sort of fortification, adding more nutrients to the product to make it more nutritious for public use. But be sure that these products are really affordable by the people, because those people who need it most are actually coming from the poorest of the poor or the marginalized people. So again, I always advocate for a convergence of efforts and come up with a unified command in addressing actually the malnutrition situation of our country.